When Angelus da Costa, the South American cattle baron, bought the winner of the Fulchester Aberdeen Angus show, he thought he was buying the finest stud bull in the world. At 65,000 guineas, it was certainly the most expensive, but da Costa claims that the bull is impotent, useless for stud, and only good for slaughter. At 65,000 guineas, that's the most expensive steak in the world.
I swear by my almighty God that the evidence I shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Michael Shipton of Tall Trees, Stranraer.
I am.
And you are a veterinary surgeon with degrees from Edinburgh University.
Yes, I'm the vet for a lot of the farmers in my area.
Yes, including Colonel McKeever.
Yes, when any problems occur in his herd, I'm usually called in.
Yes, how long have you been consultant to Colonel McKeever's herd?
Oh, about the last 4 or 5 years.
So you know the herd well?
Yes, the finest herd of Aberdeen Angus in the country.
And you know the history of Minas Merrick Mackenzie?
Yes, I was there when he was born. A marvellous bull.
Yes, in your opinion, a true and worthy champion.
Oh, yes.
Now, prior to the Fulchester show, did you conduct a semen test on Minas Merrick?
Oh, there was no point. I had every reason to believe the animal was fertile because he'd already sired calves on 2 of the home cows.
Now, can that fact be verified?
Certainly, they were registered with the Breed Society and were tattooed.
Tattooed?
On the ear, my lord. All pedigree calves are tattooed with the number given them by the Breed Society. Records of their birth and subsequent offspring are also kept by the Breed Society. In this way, the Society can guarantee the pedigree and fertility of all purebred Charolais or Frisian or whatever the breed happens to be.
In this case, Aberdeen Angus.
Quite so, my lord.
Therefore, you had every reason to believe that when Minas Merrick Mackenzie went into the sale, it was fertile.
Oh, I put it more strongly than that.
Indeed?
I think without any shadow of a doubt that bull was fertile at that time.
Yes. Now, the question of fertility is obviously crucial to this case, Mr. Shipton. I wonder if, with his lordship's permission, you would explain to the jury what is meant by fertility in a domestic animal such as a bull.
Well, the general definition of fertility is the ability to produce abundantly. The animal should be capable of producing the largest number of progeny of the highest quality that the species is capable of.
Yes. And what are the causes of infertility?
Well, there are many. Disease, diet, environmental factors. The environment in which an animal lives can affect fertility. So can the method of animal management employed by the farmer.
Yes. So in the case of a domestic animal, there's no one simple cause.
Oh, no, quite the contrary. In fact, there's a relatively high incidence of infertility in both horses and cattle. But this can't be assigned to any single cause.
Yes. Is it possible, for example, that shipping a bull abroad might cause it to be infertile?
Yes, but given time to recover from the voyage, the bull should soon be capable of stock getting. Some bulls wouldn't be affected at all.
Yes,
I see. It depends on the individual bull.
Yes. Now, you said you have been familiar with Minas Merrick Mackenzie since his birth.
Yes.
So you know his pedigree.
I do.
Yes. Now, it has been suggested by my learned friend, who did admit to being a mere novice, that there might have been a little too much inbreeding. Now, would you agree?
No. Anyone who knew the animal would see that he wasn't inbred.
Now, is there anything in his veterinary history which might suggest a cause for his alleged infertility?
No, he's been a remarkably healthy animal while he was on Colonel McKeever's farm. What happened to him in the Argentine, of course, is another matter.
Yes. Have you studied the report by Dr. Gultzman, Senator Costa's vet?
I have.
Have you any comment to make on that?
Well, it details the kind of tests that were done on Minas Merrick Mackenzie, the methods they used to try and get the bull to inseminate various cows. There's nothing one can usefully say about it unless we had been present at the tests and so forth.
Yes. Did you offer to go to the Argentine?
Yes, and Colonel McKeever wrote to Senor da Costa offering to fly me out there.
And then what was Senor da Costa's reply?
He refused.
Yes, I see. Thank you, Mr. Shipton.
Mr. Shipton, you say that Senor da Costa refused the offer of your help. Did he give you any explanations?
He said he had a vet.
Did he not also say that he had the best vets in the Argentine looking at this bull?
He may have done.
You don't remember? How extraordinary. Your memory's been so precise up until now.
I just meant that I don't think I actually read the letter.
In that case, my lord, this evidence is hearsay.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Dealey. Mr. Shipton, you must only tell the court about those matters which you yourself have witnessed or about which you yourself have personal knowledge.
I understand, my lord.
Now, members of the jury, you will disregard this witness's evidence when it refers to Colonel McKeever's offer to fly him to the Argentine.
Mr. Shipton, you said that Minos Merrick Mackenzie was a remarkably healthy animal.
He was.
Well, he suffered from none of the normal ailments of calves?
Well, of course he did, but by and large, as I said, he was extremely healthy.
I see. Now, it is true, is it not, that many of the diseases which may affect a bull's fertility may take some years to show themselves. For example, seminal vesiculitis or certain vitamin deficiencies.
Yes, but you must remember this is a pedigree herd, an extremely valuable one. A close check is kept on every animal, and at the slightest sign of disease, I'd be called in.
Unless, of course, someone did notice that something was wrong, and because the animal had been entered for the show, omitted to mention the fact to you.
I can't answer that.
My learned friend is engaging in wild suppositions.
I agree, Mr. Parson.
With respect, my lord, the bull was infertile.
That is for the jury to decide, Mr. Dealey.
As your lordship pleases. Mr. Shipton, you said the bull had been proven fertile because 2 of the home cows were pregnant by him.
Yes,
Now, what age was the animal when he served these cows?
12 months old,
What is the gestation period for a cow?
9 months.
The same as a human being.
Yes.
So Minos Merrick Mackenzie would have been 21 months old before any of his progeny saw the light of day.
That is correct.
And when he was sold, what age was he?
18 or 19 months.
So the proof of his fertility rests on the fact that 2 home cows were pregnant, presumably by him.
Definitely by him, since he was the only bull permitted to serve those cows.
And were you there at the time?
Yes, I was, as it happens.
Nevertheless, Minos Merrick Mackenzie's fertility would appear to have dropped from the point when at the age of 12 months he was capable of getting 2 cows into calf, to the point when a few months later his semen was proved to be extremely poor.
You're exaggerating the importance of a semen test.
Under the circumstances, I think not, Mr. Shipton. The bull was fertile at 12 months. The bull's fertility is questionable at 18 months. The bull is infertile at 2 years. Now, that's a steady progression, is it not?
You're oversimplifying.
One further question, Mr. Shipton. You're a vet in practice in Wigtonshire.
I am.
Now, do large farmers contract you for your services?
Yes, that's quite usual.
Has Colonel McKeever got such a contract with you?
Yes,
Is Colonel McKeever the largest cattle breeder in your area?
yes.
So it would be true to say, would it not, that if Colonel McKeever cancelled this contract with you, you would suffer considerable financial losses?
I hear
Just answer the question yes or no, Mr. Shipton.
Well, yes.
Thank you. No further questions, my lord.
Mr. Shipton, you've had the opportunity of observing Minos Merrick Mackenzie from the day of his birth, have you not?
I have.
Now, during that time, did you see any signs of any disease or deficiency or environmental factor that might account for this bull's present alleged infertility?
I have not.
Now, in your opinion, was Minos Merrick Mackenzie, when sold to Senator Costa, fertile?
He was.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shipton. No further questions, my lord.
Very well, you may leave the box, Mr. Shipton.
My lord, the last witness for the defence is Francis George Brady. You are Francis George Brady, at present staying at the Hotel Avon, Fulchester,
That's right, yeah.
and you were employed by Senator Costa, were you not?
That's right.
Until when?
Pardon me?
When did you leave Senator Costa's employ?
Oh, about 6 weeks ago.
Yes. And what was the nature of your employment?
Well, I was sort of transportation manager for the Bogus Ranch. The whole ranch complex, I mean.
You see, in the Argentine.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. Now, how long were you employed by Senator Costa?
Oh, about 3 years.
Ah. So you were employed at the Borges Ranch when Minos Merrick Mackenzie arrived there?
Oh, yeah, sure. Because it was my job to arrange the transportation to bring him immediately up country to the ranch.
Yes. Did you see much of the bull when he was on the ranch?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was a star attraction of the place. Everybody came to see him.
Yes. And in your opinion, was he in good condition?
Oh, yes, great, just tremendous. Well, everybody thought so. And I've been around cattle a long time, and by God, I've never seen an animal like that. No siree.
Yes. Now, how soon after the bull arrived did they try him out with a cow?
Oh, about 3 days. They put him out to grass for a while, give him a bit of a rest, and then they put him in with a cow.
Yes. And what happened?
Well, after a little bit of trouble at first...
Trouble, Mr. Brady?
Yes, my lord. He started to kind of suckle the cow at first.
Like a calf.
Yeah, but only briefly. And then, wow.
Wow. Mr. Brady?
Well, you see, my lord, he really got down to work, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I see.
Was he tried with several cows?
Oh, yeah.
And what were the results?
Well, he got 3 of them pregnant, just like that. Bang, bang, bang.
Mr. Brady, how do you know that he got the cows pregnant?
Well, you see, the fellow that looked after the bull, Jose, that was Jose's only job, just looking after that bull. Well, he told me.
My lord, that's inadmissible.
Yes, that would seem to be hearsay, Mr. Parson.
Well, my...
But my lord,
Yes, Mr. Brady?
you don't understand. I saw those cows pregnant.
You saw the cows.
Yeah.
But how do you know that they were the same cows?
Well, you see, they were 3 special cows that they selected to test the bull out. They had their own special paddock, and they were like, treated almost like royalty.
Yes, how did you know they were pregnant?
Because they got fatter and fatter. Gee, I mean, after a while, it was obvious that they were pregnant.
Yes, but are you quite sure they were the same cows?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So from your own observation, you saw Minas Merrick Mackenzie mount 3 cows.
Oh, absolutely.
And subsequently, also from your own observation, you saw these same 3 cows pregnant.
Right.
Thank you. Now, to your knowledge, did the bull serve any more cows?
No.
Well, why not?
Well, he seemed to get sick or something.
Sick?
Well, yeah, they brought all these vets and specialists and experts down from BA, that's Buenos Aires, to look him over. They practically took that animal apart. But somehow he just never seemed to sire any more calves, and, well, it was a very big embarrassment for Senor da Costa.
Well, how do you mean embarrassment?
Well, Senor da Costa was going around telling everybody how this is the greatest bull in the world and it's all his. And then suddenly, you know, that the bull couldn't, he couldn't kind of make it. And I would consider that a very big embarrassment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Brady.
Mr. Brady, you said that you'd left Senor da Costa's employ some 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Why did you leave?
We sort of had an argument.
With you and Senor da Costa?
Yeah.
What about?
He accused me of stealing.
Stealing what?
Motor parts or something.
Spare engine parts, was it not?
Yeah, something like that.
And what was the value of these parts that you were accused of stealing?
I wouldn't know exactly.
$4,500 American dollars. Was not that sum involved?
Yes, something like that. But I didn't steal it. I tried to explain the circumstances to Senor da Costa, but he would not listen to reason. He is a very excitable man.
I'm not surprised when something like 1,700 pounds worth of engine parts were involved.
Now you wait.
All right, Mr. Brady. Another question. Which particular ranch within the Borges estate was this bull kept?
The Martin Frio Ranch, sir.
And at which ranch did you have your headquarters?
The Segundo Sombre.
And what is the distance between the Martin Fierro and the Segundo Sombra?
Oh, about 120 miles.
That's quite a distance to drive just to watch a bull mating.
I didn't go there just to see him at work. I had to be there anyway on business.
Ah, so you just happened to be there when Minos Merrick Mackenzie was first tried with a cow?
No, not like that. Look, everybody wanted to see that bull perform. I arranged it so I would be there when they would be trying him out.
You make it sound as if Senor da Costa was selling tickets for the event.
No.
All right. Where did this performance take place?
In one of the paddocks.
Which paddock?
I don't know, just one of the paddocks. There are plenty of paddocks around.
Yes,
there.
well, I'm informed that this first attempt at mating occurred in an enclosed paddock before an audience of no more than 6 people, including Senor da Costa and his vet, Dr. Gutzman.
Well, maybe, but when I saw that bull work, there were at least 40
you
people.
ever saw Minos Merrick ever mount a cow, did you?
I did, and I'm under oath.
Your address is given as the Avon Hotel, Fulchester.
That's right.
How long have you been staying there?
About 6 weeks.
And who pays the bill? And I would remind you that you are under oath.
Colonel McKeever.
My lord, I submit that this witness's testimony has been a tissue of lies motivated by malice. I see no purpose in continuing this non-examination.
Have you any further questions of this witness, Mr. Parsons?
No more questions, my lord, and that concludes the case of the defendant.
Then I will adjourn now and hear counsel's speeches when I return.
All stand. All stand.
Well, Mr. Parsons, when you're ready.
May it please your lordship. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is an unusual case, and in many ways an embarrassing one. You are here to answer two questions. The question of the virility of a bull, and the question of the integrity of an established Scottish cattle breeder. Is Minas Merrick Mackenzie of Dalriada impotent? Was it impotent at the time of his sale? Is Colonel McKeever a liar and a thief? Now, both propositions are closely connected and are supported or contradicted by sworn statements from both the principals and their witnesses. So the question quite simply is, whom do you believe? Colonel McKeever, Mr. Shipton and Mr. Brady, or Senator Costa and Mr. Enderby? Now, his lordship will no doubt seek to guide you through these difficult waters. And in anticipating his advice, I would like to suggest that you are guided by one consideration only. Whom does it profit? By that I don't mean who makes the most money out of this case. For many people, especially the rich, money is less the driving force than vanity. Now, Senator Costa says he set out to buy the finest, most expensive bull in the world. And by means of a trick, he did so. He paid more for an Aberdeen Angus bull than anyone else had ever paid before. Now, Mr. Brady has told us on oath that this very expensive bull sired 3 cows on Senator Costa's ranch. And it seems likely that after that, the bull then became ill or suffered some accident, causing it to become impotent. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you think that Senator Costa is the type of man who is then meekly going to admit that his very expensive bull is no longer capable of getting stock? I think not. And that is why he has invented this extraordinary story. On the other hand, there is Colonel McKeever. And don't forget, no matter how financially pressed he may have been, Colonel McKeever's capital, that is to say his farm and his herd, was intact. We have been told that both are worth about £250,000. Now I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is it likely that someone like Colonel McKeever would prejudice this huge investment in money and time? 25 years of his life went into building up this herd, would prejudice this for £45,000? I feel presumptuous enough, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to suggest that your answer to that would be no, he would not prejudice it. And I am therefore confident that you will find for Colonel McKeever.
My lord, members of the jury, my learned friend has unerringly put his finger on the very knob of this case. Whom does it profit? Now, my idea of profit, and I'm sure yours too, isn't some vague concept of vanity, or pique, or injured innocence. Profit to me means one thing: money. Somebody made money out of the sale of this bull. Who? Colonel McKeever. Somebody desperately needed every penny he could get from the sale of this animal. Who? Colonel McKeever. Now, my learned friend has suggested that my client, Senator Costa, was driven by an even stronger motive: vanity. But I would ask you to think about this dubious proposition very carefully. Now, would a man driven solely by vanity risk bringing an action in a foreign country against a national of that country under a legal system that he doesn't understand, and moreover, even choose to employ a language that is not his native tongue. And would he risk all of this just from pique? Let us be realistic, ladies and gentlemen. Such a thing is, to put it mildly, improbable. Difficult neurotic men may do very strange things, but Senor da Costa is a businessman, a very successful one too. He didn't make his millions by being sensitive to what people thought about him. He made his money like everyone else by being tough, realistic, and practical. So we come back to the question that I asked at the beginning of my speech. Who stood to gain from this transaction, and who desperately needed the money? Colonel McKeever. And if the bull was proved to be infertile, who stood to lose? Colonel McKeever. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do not hesitate to call upon you to find for my client, Senor da Costa.
Now, members of the jury, normally I concern myself with elucidating points of law that have arisen in the case. However, in this case, there are no legal niceties to confuse you. You are here to decide which party is telling the truth on the two central matters. And I'm accordingly going to ask you to return your verdict in the form of answers to two questions. These are they. Has the plaintiff established, on balance of probabilities, that there was an agreement between himself and Colonel McKeever, the defendant, that the balance of the purchase price paid at the auction, over £17,000, should be returned? And two, was the bull, Minos Merrick Mackenzie, infertile at the date of the sale? Now, the basic problem for you here is whom to believe. And here I think you should rely not upon the advice of a learned judge, or perhaps even of learned counsel, but of your own knowledge of human beings and your own judgment of human nature. Whom do you believe? Colonel McKeever or Senor da Costa? Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached verdicts upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find that the plaintiff, Senor Angelos da Costa, made an agreement with the defendant, Colonel Ulrich McKeever, to repay the difference between the purchase price paid, 65,000 guineas, and the sum of £17,000?
No.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes.
Do you find that the bull, Minos Merrick Mackenzie, was infertile at the time of the sale?
No.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes.
The jury, having found in favour of the defendant, Colonel McKeever, on both points,
What the hell does that mean?
as I was saying, the jury having found for Colonel McKeever, there only remains the question of cost.
Cost? Hasn't this goddamn thing cost me enough already?
My lord,
Under the circumstances, I have decided to award the costs to the defendant, Colonel McKeever.
Oh, no,
Thank you,
come
my
on.
lord. May I just
You
say...
may not, Colonel McKeever.
Court will rise.
Well, if he thinks I'm going to pay that son of a bitch money,
Oh, yes, you'll pay, Angelus.
you know, right, so sue me.
No, have a drink.
Sue me! Sue
Take it like a
me!
man.
You call this British
I will
justice.
sue you.
I'm going back to South America. Come on.
Well, I'll sue if you don't pay. Don't you worry about it here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the business.
Join us again next week when our cameras will be back to see another case in the Crown Court.